Hello. I'm gonna show you something fun tonight. And I might chop the video up into two separate parts. There's the explanation part, which is much shorter, much more digestible, much better for the numbers. And then we're gonna actually put the lecture into practice. So there's like a lecture and then there's labs. And I can't actually see chat because I have my pop-up closed out. I'll put it back. So we can see the Crunchyroll ad from, like, that's infesting all of Twitch right now. But it is what it is. Hello, welcome. I'm Druidsfire, and I'm here to tell you how you, too, can power level an alt from 10 to 90 in World of Warcraft in, like, 3 hours. Yeah, that can happen. Now, the main reason why you might want to do that, it's like, why aren't you just going to stop and play the game? Because you may have a main, and you may have a billion alts. And you may not necessarily want to play the story 5 billion times to get your alts to level cap. And you may have a bunch of level 80s you might want to get to level cap, again, without having to spend a lot of time doing so. So there's a way to do that. And it's called, well, there's a couple of things. There's a thing in Warcraft in the past expansion and this one, War Within and Midnight, called Warband Mentoring. So as you get a character to level cap, all of your other characters below that level cap get an extra 5% boost to their leveling, up to 5 characters. So the boost caps out at 25%, Warband Mentoring. There's an achievement for it. However, if you got your first character to level 90, this is what you might want to do. So I have a whole freaking script of things I want to say. So let me grab my notes. It's not a script, it's more notes. Alright, bullet points. I had lots of bullet points. Had a few line breaks. So first thing you want to do, this is best used on a throwaway character. If you love your characters and you want to actually play your characters through the expansion, but you might not necessarily want to spend all your time leveling those characters, here's a way to get your Warband Mentoring up to 25% without having to, you know, that way when you're ready to actually level your proper played characters, you've got your mentoring ready to go. So, again, you can do this on a throwaway character. You don't have to keep the character you played. A lot of the notes I saw in other people's videos, you know, talking about how this is the quickest way to level. It is probably the quickest way to level. But 1 to 90? How is that possible? It's because of the Earthen exploration XP ratio. I'll show you what I'm talking about in just un momento. I'm going to grab my brand new character, Plate. He's wearing heirlooms, which don't really help me. I haven't leveled my heirlooms beyond, I think the best ones are 49. And I haven't touched them since before the level squish happened. A couple of expansions ago. I don't remember which expansion it was. Okay, so let me log in this character and I'm going to show you the goods. So you can do this on a fresh level 10 Earthen character. There's no combat involved. It's literally flying all over the damn planet. You want to make sure that they are in rested XP. So get them out of the Thing of Awakening, get them to Orgrimmar or Stormwind. But you don't have to like create them and wait a week and then play them to expand the rested XP. It just kind of helps. So this character has some rested XP. It is almost level 10 just by getting through the Earthen starting instance. I'm gonna actually turn this off, and we're gonna stand here in the bank because we need something. All right, but I would like to point you to the Earthen racial. that makes this all work. So it doesn't matter what character it is, or what class or what spec you choose. Honestly, you don't even have to pick that. This is all you need to know about why this works on Earthen more than anybody else. Currently, as of this time, until Blizzard decides, oh shit, we can't let people do that and take it away, like they gave everybody this recuperate thing. It was a special thing that Earthen had, like here, and then they just gave that to everybody. So they might do that to everybody else with this as well. Who knows? But anyway, Earthen and Earthen only get experience when exploring. 200% additional exploration XP. That's why this thing works. Alright. That's how it all works out. That's why Earthen are preferred for this. You can still use a lot of these same techniques. For example, if you want to get a character power leveled from 80 to 90. But basically, make sure they're in rested XP. One thing that is very important, with the warbands that came in with the War Within, you get a map that auto-completes exploration. Do not use it. Otherwise, you might as well just reroll. So, the other important leg of how this works is lore walking. And that's something that came in with the War Within. You go talk to Lore Walker Cho, and he puts you in lore walking. Now, what lore walking does is it maxes out the amount of XP a character gets for exploration based on their level. Because without lore walking being active, your character, if you take like a high level, like a level 80 character to say, I don't know, the Barrens or something, the Northern Barrens, you're going to get a minuscule amount of XP, experience XP for flying through places you haven't been to yet. But if you have lore walking mode on, you get the actual amount that scales based on your level, which is really freaking cool. Now, the first thing you want to do is get a character to level 90 already. Kickstart the Warband Mentoring experience. And I can show you the achievement because I just picked it up the other day. Okay, I also kicked some prey as well. Okay. So, yeah, here's a bunch of Warbands thing. You notice there's War Within. The War Within mentoring, if you've already done it, will help you out with this because that'll give you the 25% XP experience regardless of how many War Within or how many Midnight characters you're running through this base. So that's a good way to level up your main if you really want, whatever. So if you already have the 25% from the War Within, that'll help you from 1 to 80. And then you can just use whatever you have in Midnight stuff to help you from 80 to 90. Because one thing I noticed when I was running characters through from 80 to 90, because I lost that 25% because I hadn't yet gotten my 5 Warband mentors on Midnight, it was a bit of a slog on the second character I brought through, and the third and the fourth and the fifth. It got progressively easier because as each one got to 90, I started getting like the 2 Warband mentors, the 3 one, and the 4 for Midnight. So that was helping each subsequent character to get through more quickly. So right now I've got the basically 1 to 90. I've got 25% extra XP on all of my characters on this account, which is really, really cool. But the reason you want to do this starting at level 10 is because you will get flying. Because this is all a flying thing. And so that's how we are going to roll. It's a really cool achievement. Alright, and that being said, I keep having to think because I have this in full screen mode. There's one other big important thing about XP in general. War mode, which starts to become available at level 20, doesn't help. You don't get XP for exploring around in war mode. They figured that shit out. So don't even bother turning on war mode. It's not going to help you get more XP. Alright. One thing that will help you on the initial leg of the journey is something called the Lucky Tortollan Charm, which you can buy from Grifta for 50 gold, 30 silver, 84 copper, but it's only the version of Grifta that's in Dornogal, Tazavesh, or the Waking Shores. But the Waking Shores ones require you to do some questing to unlock the Sibelian versus Rathion Hate Fest. So don't go to the Waking Shores if you don't have to. I went to the one in Dornogal, which is close to, I believe, the one in Dornogal. Actually, let me just pull it up on the map. I'll show you. Whoops. Whoopsie doodle. Alright, Kaz Algar. Over here. The one in Dornogal. He's over... Not here. Get out of the way. He's near the portal over here. No, not that one. Where is he? He's over here. He's near the portal to Ashkahet in Dornogal, and you don't have to have completed the story to unlock him there. He was just there for one of my characters who has done none of the War Within story. So you have to unlock him first on your main, but on the way. So buy that thing from Grifta, and the really cool thing about the charm, and I'll pull it out of my warband. It's this thing right here. So it's a unique item. You notice it's not bound, not even warband bound. You could trade this to somebody else. And what it does is it will teleport you to Seeker's Vista in the Jeweled Coast in Stormsong. The reason this is important is this is the only way hordes who have not done the BFA stuff can get to Stormsong. It's also very handy for Alliance to get to Stormsong if they haven't done the story yet. So, but it's the only way for horde. Okay, so we're going to grab this item. Note that it does have a 1 hour cooldown. It's okay. We only need to use it once, and then it can go back in your warband for your next character. You don't have to buy more than one. Again, you can just put it back in your war bank and then get it out on the next character. All right. So we talked about mentoring. And again, this is a permanent clicky. It is not a consumable. So you use it, put it back at the bank, use it, put it back in the bank when you have an opportunity. You're not even going to stop at the damn bank because you're too busy flying. All right. Now, one of the things that makes this work is an add-on called Distinct Earthen something. Distinct Earthen Skyriding. Now, it must be noted that obviously you can't use steady flight on a Skyriding mount until you hit level 20. And I'll talk a little bit about this particular it's a plugin, an add-on. See, plugin is Locho, but add-ons are WoW. And what it does is it will show you what you need to do. This is all of it. This is all of these paths will show you how to get from point A to point B if you have to. Now, you're not necessarily going to do these in order. I tend to notice, like Northrend is generally winds up being the last leg. But you notice there's like Northrend and there's Northrend Horde. So I find it kind of funny that the Alliance one doesn't say Alliance, it just says Northrend. But there are two different paths, one for Alliance, one for Horde. That's kind of cool. And I actually, you don't need to have this up because this will only show you, you can actually look at these and you have options, like you get abandoned and run, which means you just start all over again. You also have this little button. I don't even know what it does. Don't care. Never use it. And you can actually go through the various segments and you can select things. You can right click on something to get rid of it. And so I like to have this up on the side so I can see how long this current leg is going to last. In case, like, let's say I'm doing this and I'm in the middle of something and I need to take a pause. I'm like, okay, where's a good place to pause? Then again, you can actually pause anywhere because you're not going to have war mode on. As long as you find a safe place to land that your character's not going to get killed while you're away, then you can get up, get a drink, use the restroom, answer the door, Talk to a parent on the phone. Talk to your bestie on the phone. Get on a video call with somebody cute. Do that sort of thing. Nobody cares. Unless you're speed running, and then it's kind of inappropriate. So I like having this open so I can see what's next. So I'm going to actually click out of that and click back in and see if it's going to start. So yeah, the starting is normally, well, we're going to start with the clicky because that's how the party works. We're going to start in Storm Song. So what happens is when you have a list up here, we are going to be starting off at Kultiris. It'll first tell you how to get there, and this is the same for either faction. So this is what pops up, and it's going to tell you what to do. It's going to tell you to open your Warband bank and then get the item. Well, we've already done this, so we're going to right-click on this because we did this already. And it's going to move on to the next step. We're going to right-click this and move on to the next step. And so we're going to start here at the Jeweled Coast. It says collect the thing and use it to teleport, and it will update itself as you get through the... And it gives you the coordinates of where to go, and there will be a crazy arrow that pops up. It will also put a really cool line. A couple of things going on here. You see, this is telling us this is where we're going. And if you notice, you kind of squint at it. It's kind of hard to see. But the path is actually outlined. All the points of interest, all the little nodes that you need to hit are outlined on this map. And one thing that's important to know is you're not going to visit the entire damn planet and everything else. Now, this is an optimized path. So basically, it's going to take you as close as you need to get to a specific spot before it's going to tick you in and say, okay, you hit the spot, now let's move on to the next one. So yeah, one of the things is the quickest way to handle this is when you hit one of the spots, and it'll show up on your mini map. It'll be a green dot, or sometimes there'll be a green dot with a white dot in the middle. That means there's 2 points, like it's your next point is the green one, and then the white one is the point after that, but they just happen to be on top of each other. Then what you want to do as soon as your character, your little cursor icon on your minimap hits that node, you're going to tap a movement button of some kind. You know, whether it's like, I actually use a backwards motion on my thumbstick, so the equivalent of hitting the S key. So you hit that, and then boom, it automatically completes that node, and then I move on to the next node. So if there's 2 nodes on top of each other, you just double tap. Just boom, boom. If for some reason the tap doesn't work and you glide away, because you will be flying, you can just circle around, try it again, and go from there. Sometimes you're going to be covered, like it thinks that the next spot is a thing, and you fly over it, and you click, and nothing happens. It's possible you may have already discovered that point, and all you do is go to this window up here and right-click on the item, and then that goes away. It clears that green dot and moves on to the next one. And it is very dynamic. That's why. Distinct with a Y. I don't know why they spelled it that way, but it's actually kind of cool. It stands out. But it is also very dynamic, so maybe that's why it's a DY. There is integration with TomTom if you're using the TomTom add-on. So you'll see the crazy arrow off to the side. I actually moved it off to the side because it was annoying me. I found that I worked better by having the mini map in the middle. So I'm focused on where I'm going because the thing will show you a line headed to the next point of interest, to the next node. So that's kind of cool. Now this is all a skyride, as the name implies, it's all a skywriting adventure, which means you can't use steady flights. You don't even have it on a skywriting mount. I mean, you could probably do the slowpoke mode on a steady mount, but there's a lot of points of interest that you actually have to land to get them. And some of them are in not exactly nice places. So you should fly high. You know, like the Air Force. United States Air Force. Fly high because nodes will, for some reason, trigger better when you're up in the air, like as high as you can fly in an area. You do want to manage your skywriting charges. It used to be called Vigor, now it's just skywriting charges, 1 to 6, whatever. And you want to manage them especially in places like Mount Hyjal, the Kunlai Summit, and the high mountain segments, because there's sometimes you're going to need to climb up. And you need charges to climb. If not, you're going to have to land, and heaven help you if you're in Wintergrass. So, yeah, and also you want to be careful about when you're changing height map from a high place like Mount Hyjal and going down into Fellwood, that if you go across, the game's gonna say there's no sky here, and it's gonna dismount you, and you're gonna fall to your doom in Fellwood. Ask me how I know. All right. You should also watch out for a few airborne dangers. For example, the Great Worm from Beyond in Uldum. It's not as bad as flying around when back in Cataclysm when Deathwing was on the march. That was fun. I once actually got the Stand in the Fire feat of strength or whatever from Deathwing, and I was on a freaking flight path. Like I was on the flight. Yeah. I wasn't solo flying. I was actually on the stable. It was funny. One thing to also bear in mind is you will get flagged for PvP in a couple of places. Like the PvP towers in Legion, if you dawdle there, you're going to get flagged. Wintergrass, you are going to get flagged. There's no way around it. The big thing about the one in Wintergrasp is you also have to worry about being dismounted because Wintergrasp is a no-fly zone. So save your Whirling Surge cooldown for that. I learned that one the hard way. However, one of the fun things is if you're zooming through that and all of a sudden you get dismounted because of Wintergrasp, you'll keep sailing into Borean Tundra on a parachute, which is really cool. You don't die because of it. However, if you're a horde, you may land in Fizzcrank Strip, and, well, the gnomes may try to kill you. On the other hand, one of the things to bear in mind is if you die, look to see where the next point of interest is and decide whether or not it's actually just quicker to take the res from the spirit healer. I'll tell you why. You're not going to be gearing up. You're not going to stop for gear. I literally will do this wearing the heirlooms that I've got. The only reason I would use these heirlooms is because they will help maintain my rested XP better. And again, while you're flying through this, you're not losing rested XP at all. It's just bouncing out and bouncing out because you're not being attacked by anything. You're not being killed by anything. That's why it's one of the reasons why you want to fly high, because the town guards can't shoot at you from that high. So it's kind of cool. All right. Let's see what else we got. We got a few more things. Again, heirlooms can help you because if you have the heirloom set, that's going to give you like 60% extra cool, like your rested XP has you lose rested XP at 60% of the rate, or is it 30? Whatever it is. Basically, it doesn't go away, like 60% better than it used to. And so, if you die, first of all, you may actually get the going down. I got two of these throwaway characters got the going down thing because they got dismounted in Wintergrasp on the way to... And then just their parachute sailed all the way into Borean Tundra. And the one who died in Fellwood, that was amazing. So yeah, don't worry about PvP because you're not going to be fighting anybody unless you land in a very bad spot and you still happen to have the PvP flag on or whatever. So let's say, well, what about the Earthen? Well, I don't want to play an Earthen because let's be honest, they're not the most awesome characters. I mean, they have an interesting background, but I have to say people are not all that keen about Earthen in the greater WoW community. They have their fans, but they're few and far in between. I think a lot of people just don't like their monotone voices. I think they look cool. They have crystals growing out of them. But in general, it's like, okay, why would I level an Earthen when I already have this class on this other character? I have this, 20 paladins. I don't need another paladin. I've got 2. No, I actually deleted an Earthen Paladin the other day because I didn't want to play it as a tank because prop pallies kind of suck right now. So, one final thing, you're going to get different routes if you're playing Alliance versus Horde. One of the cool things about the Alliance route is it actually takes you through most of Durotar, And you can get from Durotar to Zuldazar through a strangely friendly ship and crew. It's on the south end of the Echo Isles, the Troll starting area. There's a friendly to Alliance ship down there that will take you to Zuldazar. It's so freaking weird. So if you get dismounted and die or get killed by an airborne danger, sometimes it might be faster to take the res from the spirit healer, rejoin the route from there, especially if your corpse is in a bad spot that's going to make it impossible for you to mount back up. You don't have to worry about durability damage if you're not wearing any damn gear. However, you'll be squishy as fuck. So, one of the things I found out in the first run that I ever did of this is I made the mistake of not flying high, and I would like try to land to get out because I wasn't tapping on my nodes, and it took way forever as well because I was trying to be very precise when I probably should have read the instructions first. And well, let's just say I landed in a few spots to pick up particular points of interest and exploration spots. And the local critters killed me because I was only, I had no gear and I had no way to defend myself. So that's pretty much all of my notes. And so from here, I am going to get my notes out of the way. And we're just going to do the run. And get this out of the way. I will, however, show you, I was telling you I was going to put my map in the middle. And that's what you do, is you go into your edit mode, you grab your mini map, and you stick that bastard right here, right above your head. I don't know, right in here. And you save that because you're going to be focusing on that mini map more than anything else. So, I don't even care about my character's name. I just need to see where my character is going. And I hate the fact that it will not center right. I'm going to see if I can shift it over a little bit. Get you out the way. Yeah. Because, see, look at that. Maybe up a little bit. Alright. Put the mini map there. For me, that worked best out of everything. And we go.